Share NSE 6_FSW 7.2 real questions to pass the Fortinet NSE 6 FortiSwitch 7.2 exam. 1. Which COS mechanism maps packets with specific COS or DSCP markings to an egress queue? A. Queuing for egress traffic. B. Classification for ingress traffic. C. Rate limiting for egress traffic. D. Marking for ingress traffic. Answer: B. 2. Which two rules used by MSTP are similar to rules used by other STP methods? Choose 2. A. MSTP uses port role election, similar to rapid STP on the instances. B. MSTP uses alternate path and primary path, similar to regular STP. C. MSTP uses route bridge selection, similar to rapid STP. D. MSTP uses timers for transitioning the ports, similar to regular STP. Answer: B, C. 3. Which two statements about VLAN assignments on FortiSwitch ports are true? Choose 2. A. Configure a native VLAN on the FortiLink. B. Assign an IP address and subnet mask to FortiSwitch VLANs. C. Only assign one native VLAN on a port. D. Assign untagged VLANs using FortiGate CLI. Answer: C, D. 4. What can an administrator do to maintain a FortiGate-compatible FortiSwitch configuration when changing the management mode from standalone to FortiLink? A. Use a migration tool based on Python script to convert the configuration. B. Enable the FortiLink setting on FortiSwitch before the authorization process. C. FortiGate automatically saves the existing FortiSwitch configuration during the FortiLink management process. Deregister FortiSwitch to FortiSwitch Cloud to save a copy before managing with FortiGate. Answer: D. 5. Which is a requirement to enable SNMPv2C on a managed FortiSwitch? A. Create an SNMP user to use for authentication and encryption. B. Specify an SNMP host to send traps to. C. Enable an SNMPv3 to handle traps messages with SNMP hosts. D. Configure SNMP agent and communities. Answer: D. 6. Which two statements about DHCP snooping enabled on a FortiSwitch VLAN are true? Choose 2. A. Enabling DHCP snooping on a FortiSwitch VLAN ensures requests and replies are seen by all DHCP servers. B. Switch controller DHCP snooping verify MAC verifies the destination MAC address to protect against DHCP exhaustion attacks. C. By default, all FortiSwitch ports are set to forward client DHCP requests to untrusted ports. D. Settings related to DHCP option 82 are only configurable through the CLI. Answer: B, D. 7. How does FortiGate handle configuration of flow tracking sampling if you export the settings to a managed FortiSwitch stack with sampling mode set to perimeter is true? A. FortiGate configures FortiSwitch to perform ingress sampling on all switch interfaces. B. FortiGate configures FortiSwitch to perform ingress sampling on all switch interfaces, except ICL and ISL interfaces. C. FortiGate configures and enables flow sampling on FortiSwitch but does not change existing sampling settings of interfaces. D. FortiGate configures and enables egress sampling on all management interfaces. Answer: B. 8. Which interfaces on FortiSwitch send out FortiLink discovery frames by default in order to detect a FortiGate with an enabled FortiLink interface? A. All ports have auto-discovery enabled by default. B. No ports are enabled by default for auto-discovery. This must be configured under Config Switch Interface. C. The ports with auto-discovery enabled by default are dependent upon the FortiSwitch model. D. The last 4 switch ports on FortiSwitch have auto-discovery enabled by default. Answer: A. 9. Which feature should you enable to reduce the number of unwanted IGMP reports processed by the IGMP querier? A. Enable the IGMP flood setting on the static port for all multicast groups. B. Enable the IGMP flood reports setting on the mRouter port. C. Enable IGMP snooping proxy. D. Enable IGMP flood unknown multicast traffic on the global setting. Answer: C. 10. What are 2 ways in which automatic MAC address quarantine works on FortiSwitch? Choose 2. A. FortiSwitch supports only by VLAN quarantine mode. B. FortiGate applies the quarantine-related configuration only on FortiGate. C. FortiAnalyzer with a Threat Detection Services license is required. D. MAC address quarantine can be enabled through the FortiGate CLI only. Answer: B, D.